Why, hello everyone, and welcome back. It is me, of course, Chef James MacInnis, and we're on a new YouTube channel, new to me. It's got 26 million subscribers, so it's not really new, but Village Cooking Channel. And the video is full chicken biryani. Whole chicken biryani, cooking and eating in village. Arabian biryani recipe. So, for those of you that don't know, last year I tried cooking a chicken biryani, and it was no bueno. Bad experience. Haven't really been back to that. So this will be a nice video here that I can watch. Maybe I'll try making another one at some point. I'll put a link to it just so you know how bad it was. The next week, though, I did butter chicken, which was so much better. I'll link that too. So yeah, so let's hit the play and see what's going on here.
Biryani.
Okay, I have no idea what anybody said, but man, they looked excited. I love how he just throws a leg to the dog. For those of you that don't know, you shouldn't give your dogs cooked bones because they can splinter. Raw bones, on the other hand, they won't splinter. Okay, so in the North American cooking, we generally don't wash chicken. Now, it looks like they're probably in India, and, you know, maybe those chickens haven't been refrigerated the entire time. Could be whatever reason. Plus, they're outside. One of the reasons you don't want to wash your chicken inside is because when that water hits it, it can spread salmonella across the room. It makes for a cross-contamination nightmare. So that's generally why in North American cooking, European cooking too, we don't wash chicken. There's really no need to. Now with that chicken, who knows where it was stored. There was a lot of it. They're working outside. That could add for reasons on why you may want to wash it, but... Hey, I hate to interrupt the video, but if you're getting any value out of this, could you please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below.
Biryani masala அரைக்க போறோம். பட்டை, கிராம்பு, ஏலக்காய் மட்டும்தான்.
எப்படி ஒரே நிறமா இருக்கு பாருங்க.
காம்புல முட்டை இருக்கிற கிராம்பு.
மணக்குது.
15 இருக்கு. ஒரு ஏலக்காய் இருக்கு.
So they're using these stones kind of like a mortar and pestle, but on a large scale. So instead of like just ramming it in there, they've got the setup where they can just roll them like giant heavy rolling pins. That's actually pretty cool.
செக்கில ஆட்டின சுத்தமான தேங்காய் எண்ணெய், சுத்தமான நாட்டு பசுநெய்.
So although they're not speaking English, they do have English subtitles for the ingredients, and I appreciate that.
நறுக்கின வெங்காயம், நறுக்கின தக்காளி, மல்லித்தழை, புதினா.
Okay, so they're starting to layer the flavors. They started out with the, they had their cold pressed coconut oil. Then they had the ghee. For those of you that don't know, if you're used to European cooking, ghee is clarified butter. Same thing. The exact same thing. That's just the Indian word for it. Then just like we would normally do, we add the onions first. You either want to sweat onions to get them translucent, or you want to caramelize onions to get them dark. Those are really your two choices with onions. Or eat them raw. But not in this dish, I'm guessing. Tomatoes should go next because usually, like this is a chicken dish, right? And tomatoes will add acid. And when you add acid, you can, like tenderizing. So I'm wondering if the tomatoes go in at this point to release their acidity to keep things like the chicken breasts from getting to stay tender. Like you can overcook thighs and drums as long as you want. They won't really toughen up. There's a lot of fat there, but breasts go from perfectly cooked to overcooked almost instantly. So adding the acid in now is a good way to keep the breasts from drying out. It'll keep them tender. Now they also added, I think they said mint and coriander. Yeah, you want to build your aromatics from the beginning. I mean, sometimes like when you see European cooking, sometimes you'll see like fresh basil at the very end or something. But you also might have dried basil at the beginning because you want to layer flavors to keep them at their. It's just better that way.
அரைச்ச இஞ்சி அரைச்ச பூண்டு அரைச்ச மிளகாய் சாந்து தயிர் எலுமிச்சம்பழம் சாறு நம்மளே செஞ்ச பிரியாணி மசாலா
That's another thing. Like when we go to the grocery store here, you buy curry powder, right? Like it's yellow, you just buy curry powder, or you might buy green Thai curry paste or red Thai curry paste. But curry is a spice blend, right? So everything that they've put in, they had the coriander and they had, whatever else was mentioned in those, like the chili paste and the garlic paste, all that stuff that was mentioned in those subtitles there. That's all the building blocks of the curry. So one other thing that I find interesting is when people discuss curry and they say, oh, I had a good curry here, or I love curry there. And that's so generic when they say that because curry is just the spice blend. So I think it'd be like somebody saying, I want good Italian seasoning. And you'd be like, oh, okay. Meanwhile, to them, they're saying, I had Italian seasoning. Maybe it was a chicken dish with rice, and they're calling that Italian seasoning. You know what I mean? Like, because curry is not the chicken or, whatever. Like, this is a curry dish, but it has its own name, biryani. But sometimes in the West, we just say, oh, I had good curry here. What does that really mean?
முழு கோழிக்கறி
அண்ணன் அப்படியே சட்டிக்குள்ள போய் வருதுன்னு கை ஏறுதா இன்னும் எத்தனை ஜோடி இருக்கு அவ்வளோ வேமா எடுத்து அதெல்லாம் நேரம் வெந்திருக்கும் அவ்வளோதான் இடுமச்சான்.
Now I find this interesting that they're just throwing the chicken in whole and unseared. If we were doing this in Western cuisine, maybe say making a cacciatore, we would break the chicken down into several pieces and then we would brown them first and then we would deglaze the pan and use that fond. In this, we would deglaze it to make sure it's not stuck and burning to the bottom. Now they're putting the chickens in whole like this. This is going to give more like a poached effect. I just don't know. I guess there's so much flavor going on in their spices that they don't need to develop the flavor on the meat. But I just think that's a lost spot where you could add just a little more oomph to it. Okay, so now they're adding white rice. I'm going to assume that it was already cooked, and then they took it out of one pot into there to get the starchy water out. That's what I'm going to guess, that they didn't want to put the rice in there raw and have it starch out. See, now they're cooking from both directions, top and bottom. They have the fire underneath and some heat on top, kind of like an oven, and that way they're really maximizing the fact that they're outside and they can do that. That must be a couple hundred pounds. That's got to be easily 250 pounds. So when I said white rice earlier, like, because it's not brown rice, but that clearly looks like it's basmati.
எடு மச்சான், நாளைக்கு கடையை போடுறோம், பிசினஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றோம் மச்சான். முடிஞ்சு மச்சான். இந்த அள்ளி போடு, உடையாம அப்படிதான். அடேங்கப்பா, கோடியே தாத்தா என் சோக்கிட்ட வச்சு முதுகு அப்படியே கொட்றா. பிரியாணி கொட்றா, கோழியை வையடா. எங்கடா வெங்காயத்தை வைடா. சாலனா ஊத்தியாச்சா? முழு கோழி.
So that's very communal. I mean, they have it poured out on a table in front of them. It looks like each person's kind of taking their own chicken. They don't look to be very large chickens when you see that the overhead shot of them. Very communal, very camaraderie. I mean, biryani, from what I understand, is supposed to be a dish for celebrations because of how long it takes to traditionally cook. What I don't find appealing, and this is just my preference, I think that the chicken definitely doesn't have any developed richness, no roast to it. I would have browned everything off first. I probably would have cut it into 9-cut. You know, where you take the chicken, basically you get 4 out of the legs, right? You take the legs off at the hip, cut them again at the knee, so you have 4 pieces. Then the other 5, you before you split the breast in half, take 1 off of the bottom and then split the breast in half, and now you've got another 3 pieces. That takes you to 7. When you take the wings off, 8 and 9. And that's how you get to a 9-cut chicken. That's probably what I would have did. Would have been more work, yeah. I'm not sure if there's any more of the video because they're already eating it. There's a 1.5 minutes left. I'm going to hit play. If there's nothing worth showing, I'll just jump right back to me rambling on about a conclusion. Okay, yeah, so there is nothing really worth showing. They were just showing how they were mixing it up, the rice into the condiments that they had on the table. So my biryani was also like pitch yellow too. Theirs has like a nice dark tomatoey color. Kind of reminds me of a cacciatore, but served with rice. So anyways, if you like this video, let me know. That was my opinion on it overall. I mean, they did an amazing job. I know that is the proper technique. Like, I know you're not in Indian cooking. I know you're not supposed to sear stuff. Generally, you kind of let the spices do all the work. I know that's one of the downsides of European cooking is because spices came to the show so late. Like, you know, wars were fought over spices. Travel to different worlds was thought of. Like, you know, Columbus is searching for a faster trade route to India for spices. You know, pepper from China, like this whole big thing. Really, in European cooking, we are doing all of this searing and stuff to develop all of this flavor and caramelization of onions and stuff because we don't have spices for thousands of years while the cuisine's getting developed. And you know, we really have to maximize the flavor. When I see Indian cooking culture that is thousands of years old, that has always had this rich blend of spices. I don't want to say like they take the easy way out by not developing the flavor in the meat, but I definitely think there's an elevation that could be added. Just the way that in European cooking we've elevated by using spices. I think that in Indian cooking they could elevate by, you know, searing and caramelizing and stuff. Just my opinion, take it or leave it. Anyways, until next week, this has been Chef James, and I'll see you later.